minutes in. Carry on Alice breaks their hearts again.
Pulling clear in the closing stages. Smart Call wins the Jambi Mid. And Smart Call comes home to win it in the main Chance Farms Paddock Stakes.
A very good evening and welcome to this edition of Breeding to Win, another action-packed show. We're bringing you a couple of stallion inserts as well as finding out a little bit more about what's happening at some of the stud farms over the festive season. With me, as always, Julie Alexander. Welcome.
Thank you, Grant. And I was just looking at your beard. It's actually not doing too bad.
Yeah, I've kept it trim and yeah, it's not easy though.
I'm impressed, eh?
Yeah.
What, only got another week to go?
Thankfully. Thankfully. It's not the easiest job.
But so you've kept it trimmed, because otherwise it would be quite bushy.
No, if it gets, then at this length, it doesn't get as itchy as it was when I tried to get it, yeah. So.
Well, I'm impressed. Well done.
Thank you very much. I'm just waiting to clock the $5,000 from the various sponsors and pass that on to the very worthy cause.
Absolutely. But we've had a lovely week of racing, and obviously with a lot of attention now moving down to Cape Town for the Cape season.
Absolutely, yeah. Pretty much the start of it with the Selangor and the Landsrack ready to run. What a great day that was out at Kenilworth as well, and certainly full marks to Landsrack. They really pulled out all the stops. But tell us what's on the show tonight.
Well, Grant, we've got an action-packed show for our viewers on the Breeding to Win show this evening, and we start off with a visit to Coolmore to visit stallion Uncle Mo. We then also chat to Justin from Mark about the stallion Uncle Mo. Our second guest this week is Fred Bronze from Havisham Park. We meet top stallion Luke De Vega. We visit Pippa Mickleborough, and we get Jason Singh on the line to chat about the Tattersalls Mare Sale. We close out the show with a lighter moment in the fantastic sport we're all in.
Yeah, fantastic show. Looking forward to that end bit as well, because have you ever had a wardrobe malfunction? No.
Never.
Okay.
Not, at least not publicly.
Not publicly?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, you've heard of a guy going racing and maybe losing his shirt.
Yes, but never someone losing their pants. So this could be quite interesting and worth to wait until the end of the show to watch out for it. But let's go on to our first guest this evening. And of course, Grant, we go down to Coolmore, and Justin from Mark tells us all about the stallion, Uncle Mo.
Not since Danzig has a stallion seen this much early success. He's not just setting records, he's making history. The best start at stud ever. Uncle Mo, the momentum continues.
The Breeding to Win team are here at our favourite venue, Vasco da Gama in Cape Town, and it's a really, really good vibe. It's Friday evening, the restaurant's full, everyone I think is getting in the festive spirit of things. And with me this evening is Justin Veermark from Green Street Bloodstock to chat to me about Coolmore stallion Uncle Mo. Justin, it's always lovely to have you on the show and chat to you and share your knowledge. Uncle Mo is doing remarkably well in America. Please just tell us a little bit more about his breeding and his progeny.
Yeah, look, as a racehorse, I mean, he was something of a phenom. As a racehorse, as a 2-year-old, he went 3 from 3. He started off his career, as most champion horses do, by winning a maiden by 14 1/4 lengths over 1,200 meters. He then immediately stepped up into Group 1 quality when going a mile. He won that Group 1, and then he closed off his 2-year-old career in the Breeders' Cup, where he raced in the juvenile race, which is on dirt, over 1,700 meters. And he was a convincing 4 and a bit part winner of that race as well. So he's finished off his 2-year-old career as the champion 2-year-old and a Breeders' Cup winner as well, which obviously gives him great credentials credentials to stand at stud later on. And he didn't just stop there, because at 3 he ran a phenomenal second in the King's Bishop Group 1, which is a 7 furlong or 1400 meter race, which is a touch on the sharp side for him. He was defeated by a horse called Caleb's Posse, who was a Breeders' Cup mile winner in that particular event, so not disgraced at all. And after that he went on to win the Kelso handicap wire to wire, which was a mile event at Belmont, which is, you know, a distance more up his alley, and he recorded a Bayer figure of 118. Now the Bayer ratings, they are very similar to time form ratings and your type of speed ratings, a figure that the Americans, you know, they swear by it. And he earned the highest Bayer figure as a 2-year-old of his generation, 108, and then the same generation at 3 earned 118, which was quite phenomenal. And you know, with a record like that, obviously he was going to be a stallion in demand, and he got the call. He went to Coolmore, to Ashford Stud, which is their farm in America, and he started off his stud career, which is where things really kicked off for him.
He was a record-breaking champion Freeman Stallion in 2015.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, what he did in his freshman year, his first season of runners, was nothing short of phenomenal, and that's led to the rise of Uncle Mo that we see today. I mean, he, as you said, the champion freshman sire. He sired an unbelievable 23 stakes winners in his American first crop, which is something to behold, from only 120 odd runners. So we're looking at, you know, almost 20%, just short of 20% stakes winners to runners. Now, that is really a phenomenal statistic. I mean, we look at the top stallions around the world. We're looking at horses like Galileo, Dubawi, the likes of them. They're at about 10-12% stakes winners to runners, getting the best mares in the world. Where now he's gone and put together a number close to 20%, which is just about 1 in 5 of his progeny won a stakes race, which is an incredible start. And you know, that led someone like Bill Oppenheim, who is the global authority on stallions, to make a comment like, the start of Uncle Mo's made to his stallion career equates so far to the sort of sire Danzig, Stormcat and AP Indy started at stud. So I mean, that's a big thing for someone of his caliber to say. And he was very well received at stud. His first crop, as I touched on, was phenomenal, led by a horse called Nyquist and a couple of other Group 1 winners, including Group 1 placed horses like Mo Cat, who ran second in the Santa Anita Oaks, and Royal Mo, who ran third in the Santa Anita Derby. So a lot of Group 1 performers in that crop, and it's led to a position now where Uncle Mo's standing for $125,000 a cover. And it's obviously a bit early to be talking about him being a sire of sires, but he's got Nyquist, who's standing at stud at Darley for $40,000 a cover, which is a big figure as well. And he was a phenomenal racehorse. He won 3 Group 1s as a 2-year-old and 2 Group 1s as a 3-year-old, and he has some phenomenal records to his name, including being the first champion 2-year-old to win the Kentucky Derby undefeated since the great Triple Crown winner Seattle Slew, which is quite a record. And then obviously he was only the second ever horse to win the Breeders' Cup Juvenile and the Kentucky Derby as well. Obviously, to train on from a 2-year-old to a Kentucky Derby winning 3-year-old is a feather in the cap for the stallion Uncle Mo. And Nyquist himself as a racehorse, he really was a phenom of the time, and he himself is standing at Darley for $40,000, and his first crop that went on sale this year averaged at $300,000 in the sales ring, which is quite a phenomenal number as well.
Well, he's just done amazing. It all speaks for itself, really. But his breeding, have you gone into that in detail? It's by Indian Charlie. It's not probably the most fashionable breeding when you look at it, but good pedigree.
Yeah, it is. Look, the interesting thing, and I think the right word is unique. Obviously, America is dominated by Mr. Prospector and Stormcat line sires, of which he's not represented by those two in his male line. So it's been found now he's done really, really well. You're looking back at his big stakes winners. He's done really well to mares with Mr. Prospector in that line. So a unique pedigree, obviously not the most fashionable, but he was a superior racehorse, and he's throwing that gene into a lot of his progeny as well. On the 18th of November, he had his 35th stakes winner from his limited amount of crops, of which they've won 57 stakes races. So that truly is something phenomenal.
Well, he's very versatile as well, over a distance from anything from 6 furlongs to a mile.
Yeah, he won his maiden over 1,200, 6 furlongs as we say, and then obviously his big Group 1s over a mile and 1,700 metres. And the progeny are going that trip as well. I mean, Nyquist, his son, went on to win the Kentucky Derby after winning a Group 1 1,700 metre race as a 2-year-old. So he's getting them over all sorts of distances. And I think now, obviously, with his phenomenal performance as a sire from his first crop, a lot of the very, very good mares have been sent to him now in the last season or so. I know Beholder was a champion mare, got serviced by Uncle Mo. So in the next couple of crops, we'll see some of his progeny that are out of the real top race mares, and then I think we'll see some fireworks in the sales ring and on the race course as well.
Not since Danzig. Has a stallion seen this much early success? He's not just setting records. He's making history. The best start at stud ever. Uncle Mo. The momentum continues.
Incroyable ici, la police qui va enlever l'arc de triomphe, 5e victoire dans la course pour Frankie Ettori.
Is storming home. One of the last possible gasps for the Challenger thriller.
What a finish to the Melbourne Cup. Brave is under pressure when they turn in. It's been a relentless run, Cup. Who's going to be the last man standing?
Backing on through, then Wings of Eagles, there's some more, Wings of Eagles swooping though, and Wings of Eagles gets up to win!
His 3,000th winner.
Vodacom, Durban, July.
Gauteng Sansui Samaka.
Loop de Vega is the top-rated son of Sharmadal. During his racing career, he ran 9 times for 4 victories before retiring to stud. Now, his progeny are flying his flag in both the north and southern hemispheres. Let's take a look at Loop de Vega.
Heading the Ballylynch Stallion roster for 2017 is Lope de Vega. The champion European first crop sire of 2014, he has excelled himself in both 2015 and 2016 and boasts a set of statistics that belong to only the elite sires. Following a year which yielded 2 more Group 1 victories, a host of pattern race successes and a striking 25 stakes performers in 2016 alone, Lope de Vega has amassed a record that makes for compelling reading. As a racehorse, he emulated his sire Chamardal by winning both the Group 1 Poule d'Essai des Poulains and the Group 1 Prix du Jockey Club, in the process establishing himself as one of the standout colts of recent years, and he is now proving just as influential at stud. Ballylynch's top-class homebred Bellardo has been a tremendous standard-bearer for Lope de Vega, and he again held his own against some of the world's best last year, when his efforts included this superb win over a field of top-notch milers in the Group 1 Lockinge Stakes at Newbury, in which Lope de Vega also supplied the third-placed Endless Drama. Bellardo would then end his career with an excellent second to the brilliant American filly Tepin in Royal Ascot's Queen Anne Stakes.
Bellardo and GM Hopkins. Barchan's now being asked for more effort, trying to lead the field for as long as possible. 2 or more is poised to commit first. Over to the right-hand side, Cody Bear. Euro Charlene travelling up well. Limato beginning to get involved. Marsu pushed along as the pace begins to increase as 2 or more goes for home. 2.5 furlongs to go. Euro Charlene, Limato still being held on to. Endless Drama, Pink Sleeves. Then behind these, Cody Bear, Bellardo making some ground as well. Now 2 or more's pressed by the mare Euro Charlene. Limato, the moment of truth, as enters unknown territory. Bellardo on the far side and Endless Drama. It's Euro Charlene out in front. Bellardo away to the far side and Endless Drama. Bellardo coming home strongest. Bellardo's getting up to win the Lockinge. It's Bellardo who won the Al Shakab Lockinge. A punch of the air for Andrea Adsani. Euro Charlene was second. Back in third place was Endless Drama, and in fourth place was Limato.
Further Group 1 success for Lope de Vega was to follow in France, as Jamail claimed the Group 1 Prix Saint-Hilary, beating a field that included fillies of the calibre of the proven Group 1 performer Hawksmoor.
Qui vient à l'extérieur, Magnanime qui est là également, Rosvana qui a semblé un instant malchanceuse, Gemayel qui est côté col avec Camproc de plus en plus fort à son extérieur, Gemayel Camproc, Gemayel peut-être devant Camproc, la 3e place qui va revenir au numéro 7.
Once again, Lope de Vega's juvenile crop came to the fore, and his son South Seas established himself as one of the leading English 2-year-olds of 2016 when beating the subsequent dual Group 1 place Saluan in the Group 3 Solario Stakes at Sandown in August. In ending his 2-year-old campaign with a second in the Group 1 Criterium International, South Seas served notice that he will be a major force at the top level in 2017.
Cello is being pressed by Ektiran, who's just hanging over to the near side, and South Seas is beginning to gather some momentum over on the far side, and it is South Seas who's moved through and quickly got a couple of lengths clear. Ektiran still showing signs of inexperience, he's wandering around, but he's about 3 lengths down with 100 yards to go. It's South Seas out in front from Ektiran. Saluen is staying on, taking in the closing stages, but another smart winner of one of our feature races, South Seas, also unbeaten, won the Solario from Saluen.
Allied to these triumphs, Lope de Vega was also ably represented by the dual Group 2 Heroine and Group 1 Falmouth Stakes second Very Special. The right man served notice to be one of the leading sprinters in France by ending his season with listed and group wins. With yearlings fetching up to €500,000 and bought by the likes of Shadwell Estates, Lanford Bloodstock and Joseph O'Brien, Lope de Vega's universal appeal was amply illustrated through the autumn.
Great fight and determination. We've witnessed a really first-class performance. Soft falling rain is drawing clear. Soft falling rain has won the Godolphin Mile.
Under pressure that early, deep, and still keep finding in the straight. It just shows you how good this horse is and what heart he's got.
Very exciting times in the UK as well. There's a mare sale season. And with us on the line today is Jason Singh from Tattersalls. Jason, thanks for joining us on the show. How's things in the UK?
Pleasure, Grant. Things here, it's exciting. It's cold, but it's exciting. It's a fantastic sale, the December sale, mix of foals, yearlings and breeding stock, and something that we I think everybody in the industry looks forward to every year.
It's almost like the gathering of the world in one racing jurisdiction, isn't it? I think you get people from all around the world, and South Africans have been pretty busy buying at your sale in the past as well.
Yeah, we get buyers from more than 30 countries come to the December sale to buy their filly or mare to take back to become the foundation mare in whichever country they've come from, and it really is a global melting pot, should I say. And South Africa's no different to that, having come for decades to try and buy fillies to take down to South Africa to breed from.
I remember some years ago, I think it was David Allen who teamed up with Anton Proctor, and they almost initiated some of those original sales. And Anton Proctor was fairly busy in your market.
Yeah, Anton's come up here several times, and David's always been a strong supporter, buying for Anton and also the Parkers as well. And he's got the rewards he's deserved by doing what he's done.
Now, in terms of obviously some of the progeny that's come out to South Africa, it's great to get the cross-pollination of the gene pools as well, and especially when you've got families that relate to Galileo and some of those strong European families that certainly will do well anywhere in the world.
Yeah, it's people sort of mistake that they getting new blood. Some people think that maybe they don't need to do it, and you only have to look at the established industries like Australia and America who still come to buy the fillies and mares to upgrade their local stock, and we've had great success in South Africa in the last few years. Horses like Search Party, Anna Pavlova, Alexa, Royal Honour, Table Bay, all out of mares that have been bought here at Tattersalls.
A fantastic track record that you got there as well. Now, if there are South Africans, Jason, that are interested in going over, obviously you're starting off with the foal sale first. Just run through the exact starting dates of all the sales for us first.
So we start the yearling sales on Monday, on the 27th of November. That's just a one-day sale, 200 lots. We then kick off the foals on Wednesday, which is the 29th, running through to Saturday, which I think is the 2nd of December. So that's about 1,200 foals. And then on Monday week, the 4th of December, we have roughly 1,000 fillies and mares, spread over 4 days, running from the 4th to the 7th of December.
Fantastic stuff. So now, if there are a particular number of farmers or stud managers that would like to still make a late booking and come out to visit you, how do they go about it?
Yeah, no problem at all. Book your flights and let us know, and we can help organise accommodation, and we'll send a car to pick them up from the airport and try and make their stay as easy and trouble-free as possible.
As we mentioned earlier on as well, it really is like the melting pot with people coming from China, from Australia, all around the world there. And I know after the sale in your various restaurants and bar enclosures, the banter is absolutely electric as well, with all the racing enthusiasts getting on with each other.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's plenty of people who come to the Send the Mare sale, not to buy a horse, but to meet with other breeders, and stud managers from around the world. And, that's part of the appeal, is that it's kind of one of those central hubs where everybody gets together once a year to have a chat.
Now, the last time I came out to the Tats Mare sale, I think there was an Oaks winner that was going on sale, and she reached all sorts of extraordinary cash. Is there a real plum in the catalogue this year?
Yeah, it's an exciting year this year. We've got the Ballymacole Dispersal, which, 50 years of breeding, more than 30 Group 1 winners, horses that everybody's familiar with throughout the world. Unfortunately, that family's not continuing with breeding. So, those horses that are coming through the sale, great horses like Islington and her descendants. So that's exciting. Plus, we've got, there's 4 Group 1 winning fillies, which you don't often get in in 1 year. And that's, Marsha, Quiet Reflection, Zukova and Intricately. So they're going to, there should be some fireworks there.
Excellent stuff. Well, I know John Costa is coming out, and I'm sure he'll be very keen to take a look at the stock that you got on offer. Jason, just confirm your email address for us. We'll put it on screen as well. And if there's anybody who is wanting to maybe make a last-minute booking, they'll be able to get hold of you. Do you want to give that out to us now?
Yep, sure, absolutely. You can contact me on jason.singh, SINGH, @tattersalls.com.
Fantastic stuff. Jason, thanks very much for joining us on the show. We wish you all the success with the Tattersalls foal sale, the yearling sale, and of course the mare sale as well. And look forward to catching up with you next week.
Brilliant. Look forward to seeing you, Grant.
Thanks very much. Well, that was Jason Singh representing Tats. They've got a wonderful catalogue coming out, and certainly from a breeding perspective, you really want to be out there and getting involved in some of these international pedigrees. It's the way to move forward. It's certainly the way that most Group 1 winning countries and countries that are doing well in the Group 1 races have got to that position in the breeding ranks as well. So get out there, improve the stock. You won't believe what it does to your racing progeny.
Well, Christmas season is around the corner, so we chat to Pippa Mickleborough down at Aventier to find out what happens down at Aventier during the festive season.
We're here at Aventier Stud in the restaurant, and it's looking particularly festive. We've got beautiful table decorations, Christmas crackers, really getting me in the mood. And I'm going to be chatting this morning to the lovely Pippa once again on what's going on at the stud and all the Christmas things that are happening here in the restaurant. Pippa, it's really exciting. You've got a fantastic menu as always going forward, and you're open now for dinner every evening.
So we open from Wednesdays to Saturdays, and breakfast, lunch and dinners. We don't really have a set Christmas menu per se. We have the normal a la carte, but lots of functions, lots of year-end parties, lots of celebrations, and we're in the mood.
It certainly is looking particularly festive in here, and you've got some new wine releases, I believe.
Some lovely, the new 2017 releases are out. Sauvignon Blanc is out, the Pinot Noir Chardonnay is out. exciting times, new labelling, new packaging. So yeah, a new broom.
And really exciting to hear that the Platter 2018 guide, you've made it up a couple of stars.
Yeah, you know, that's a little Bible that the wine connoisseur likes to follow. It's quite a hard competition. It's a blind tasting, and it depends who's tasting your wine. But this year we did particularly well, and if all the people get in their Christmas stockings, then they'll look, our wine's doing very nicely. So yeah.
And I see on the website you've got something really nice on offer for people. They can walk and wine, so they can do some wine tasting, they can have a walk around the farm, which is lovely with all the foals out in the paddocks.
You know, it's something that we've noticed that people like. It's quite sort of time consuming if you have to look after them. So we've made a little map and drawn little pictures, and they follow the sort of like, you know, Hansel and Gretel, they follow the little line, and they can see the vineyards, and we talk about the vineyards in the little booklet, and see some foals and anything particular, lovely trees on the farm. So it's something they can do on their own with the kids, you know, and push their little pram around, yeah.
And great, and if they fancy some Sauvignon Blancs, I believe there's a you buy 5 and you get the 6.
They're nice special on at the moment. We try and do a special every month, and this time of the year, you know, being the festive season and lots of eating and drinking, so lovely everyday drinking wine, yeah.
There's never a dull moment here on the farm. You've just finished foaling season. A success this year?
Listen, anybody who tells you the foaling season's fun has not been honest. It's wonderful when it all goes well, but it can go really bad. So we've had a good season, 1 or 2 sad cases, but nothing out of the ordinary. All foals safely delivered, and the season going really well. Mares are getting in foal easy, and VAR's been working particularly well this year.
And the fantastic news is that Oratorio is back in action, he's back to good health and back in business.
Yeah, listen, I know I don't look I've aged much, but I feel like I've aged. It was very, very stressful, and you know, great financial loss for the farm. And so that's been quite hard to ride that out, but he's been an amazing patient, and he's working exceedingly well, trying to catch up now. But obviously a lot of his mares have gone elsewhere, but if I can get to 40, that'd be a great recovery. And let's just hope. There's been a lot of faith in him. I'm just so proud of him. You know, he's kept his cool, but a wonderful tempered horse, and he hasn't missed a beat.
Well, I think the public were all keeping their eye and willing him on to get better, so it's really fantastic to hear. And then poor Miss Frankel, she unfortunately had a little bit of a mishap in her last race, and she's back here on the farm resting.
Yeah, she's arrived safely home. She'll have a 4 months rest. She's hurt her high suspensory ligament, which is an irritating thing to hurt. But as the vets confidently tell me, patience, Pippa. She's got time on her side. She's young. She needs the rest, and that should be fine. So we'll give her the rest. She's box confined, but she gets lots of spoils and green grass and carrots, and yeah, she's in good form.
It's great to see your jockeys, the amateur jockeys, doing so well. Lyle Hewitson really rode out of his boots on Saturday, flying the flag for the internationals.
It was an amazing achievement, I think, for young guys, and happy to get it. And he nearly won the Victor Ladorum. He's a wonderful, wonderful asset to the farm, him and Callan. And then, of course, MJ rode 5 winners in PE last week. So, yes, it's one of those little added bonuses we have, you know. But all 3 of them do a great job for us. And they're young, and they've got huge followings on the social media. So, very proud of all 3 of them. They all do their own thing.
It's a busy, busy season ahead. Some exciting race meetings to look forward to.
Very exciting. Listen, you know, Legal Eagles in the Cape, he's arrived, so we obviously put a lot of kudos on his achievements. We'll see how the 2-year-olds start coming out now. The lovely VAR's so wonderful because he gives you such nice 2-year-old winners. But exciting racing, looking forward to the big ones, yeah.
I must compliment you on your website. It's absolutely a fantastic website to go on. It gives you every bit of information, from horses to recipes to wines, everything. It is marvellous.
It's one of those things, you know, I think there's so many lovely websites out there designed artistically, but they don't update them enough, and that drives me mad. So we try and update at least once a week. There's a new story or a new link, new pictures. And yeah, it works well, and people are they're good followers. And Facebook pages, ridiculous. I actually don't realize how much time people spend on Facebook, because our Facebook page, we have one for the restaurant, one for the Aventure Estate, and that is a huge thing for us. When we've got specials, dinners, functions, that really attracts our customer.
Well, thank you very much, Pippa. We wish you all the best for the season ahead, and I think it'd be rude not to pull one of these crackers and
Christmas
wish each
crackers. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Everybody.
He's stallion. He's by Galileo, who's the best stallion in the world. He's out of a Pivotal mare, who's Pivotal's the best stallion in England. He's a great horse.
The United States now striding freely. It is well clear with 100 metres to go.
Persuasive on the outside of Wu Hader. Winter's kicking on the far side though. She's so tough. Hydrate is coming out of low and one.
The United States being tackled by Haraki. The United States repelling the challenge of Haraki. And the United States draws clear to win the round at by 3/4.
This horse produces a quality, precocity, and soundness. Whether they win at 2 years old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6, they just keep on running.
Taking the lead now for Rosie Napravnik in the Secretary of State's. Admiral Kitten on top.
Well, my special guest on the Breeding to Win show this evening is Fred Bronze. Not a familiar name with racegoers, but Fred, lovely to have you on the Breeding to Win show, and nicely that you've now teamed up with Nigel Riley in Havisham Park.
Thank you, Julie. It's very nice being here. It's the first time I've been in the studio here. Lovely place, nice big place, and racing is bigger than I thought it was.
Yeah, it's amazing what actually goes on behind the scenes at Teletrack.
Absolutely.
But lovely to have you in the studio.
Thank
now,
you.
just tell us a little bit about you and Nigel, because obviously Nigel Riley is a name that we are familiar with.
Yeah.
He used to train and now he's gone into the breeding side of things. So how do you fit in?
Right, what happened was I have over years, probably the last 30 years, designed a system where I work out pedigrees, which really came from a position where people sort of said, why don't you start buying racehorses, because we're always interested in racehorses. But I sort of said, how? And when I got into it first, I got the catalogue and I looked at, they said, what do I look at? And I said, Persian Wonders in New South Wales, that's those days. But those horses those days were going for 100, 200,000 already. You know, you couldn't get to them. I said, how do you get to that? And I started studying pedigrees. And I eventually developed my own system, which I believe is very competitive. In some areas, much better than probably the traditional systems that we got. But it's over 30 years been working this. I've been testing it quite a bit in the market. But it was always a situation that I needed to team up with breeders that would want to believe in the system and experiment with it. And I've been with a few farms, and it never really clicked well the way we would wanted it. But Nigel realized that although he's a brilliant horseman, there's no doubt about it, he is of the best, the highest standard. He understands horses, he understands all care of horses, but he was short of one thing, and that was to analyze and know what pedigrees to put together.
The mating side.
The mating side. And that's where we started then working together, and he was breeding horse, and I said, but did you do that, and did you do that? He says, no, I didn't. I didn't know I had to do this kind of thing. And we started eventually to team up, and that's where we are at the moment. And we started growing the mare base and the stallion base, and that's where we're going.
You're based in Gauteng, Fred. That is not really the familiar breeding spot to actually breed horses.
That's actually a true fact at the moment. But Julie, about 30 years, 40 years ago, the Free State in Gauteng was actually quite big. There must have been in excess of about 30 or 40 farms, but somehow it disappeared. I'm not 100% sure how it happened, but it did disappear. But the potential is here, and we believe it. And it's very difficult to get a mind swing with people. And one thing we did realize, because we've got the techniques and we believe we got sufficient funds at this stage, that we'll have to do it our way and not rely on anybody else, and then get the people to tag with us. And that's really how we did it. We sort of went and identified stallions. Once we identified stallions, we went to mare sales. And then we bought mares specifically for those stallions. And that's how we got the whole program going, so that we know the mating that we do. And the idea that we got is our breeding target is black type. That's what we're breeding, and that's what we're focusing on. It's a target. We know we're all not going to get it right exactly, but that's what we're doing. We're focusing on black type, and that's our breeding target with every combination we put together.
How many stallions have you got at the moment?
We started with 2 stallions. The one was Mufid by Duke of Marmalade, the only Duke of Marmalade son in the country, although he, of course, is standing down in the Cape himself. And we had Harry Hall by Pivotal, one of the best stallions in the world as well, being Pivotal. Harry wasn't a very good racehorse as such, but out of very little progeny, he produced black type, and we thought we were going to give him a chance. Unfortunately, he covered 2 of our best mares in combination, in the right combination, and then he unfortunately died of tick bite fever. So we lost him. But since then, we've also bought another horse called Lord of the Land in England. He's standing at the moment in Ireland. We didn't get him here in time for the breeding season. He's a full brother to Lope de Vega, who's one of the best stallions in the world at the moment. They just mentioned the other day that his fee is going up to 60,000 euros for the coming season. And this is a full brother to him. So we believe we've got something very special in him, and he's also a black type horse. And then we've just secured a deal on a horse called Wings of Desire, also by Pivotal. We like the Pivotal line as such. We want to get into the top lines. And we just secured it with Wings of Desire, and we're going to bring him out also for the new season. So we will have 3 stallions for the new season coming, but we're looking at probably adding another 2 or so. We're looking at very specific lines, some of the best lines in the world. We know one of the best lines in the world is Candy Ride in America, Sunday Silence in Japan. So that's the kind of lines that we want to bring into the country. And we want to separate ourselves maybe from what used to be happening in Gauteng. You know, Gauteng used to inherit a lot of horses that maybe failed in other areas. Then they come to Gauteng, and we didn't want to do that. We want to be new, special, and a new fashion that we wanted to do. And we starting the concept, looking after ourselves, and hoping we can bring the industry with us.
Well, we wish you all the best, Fred. It sounds like you
very
guys
much.
know exactly what you're doing. You've got a plan, and hopefully that plan succeeds. So we'll be watching out for your yearlings and, of course, for your runners next season.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing. I think the bloodstock that we have, the stallions are right. We also have a couple of very good mares that we bought. Last week, for instance, we had Drogling was running 3rd in a listed race, just coming up through the ranks at the moment. And on the Summer Cup on Saturday, we've got Pagodas and Pagoda's mare standing on the farm. So that's the kind of bloodstock that we are putting together to make a success of it.
Well, we wish you all the best. Thank you very much for joining us on the Breeding to Win show.
Thank you very much, Julie. Nice to be here.
We're here at Durbanville Racecourse for the CTS Ready to Run sale presented by Lanzerac Hotel and Spa, and what a quality catalogue it looks to be. As usual, CTS have put on a fantastic marquee for us. The food looks magnificent. I'm looking forward to seeing the horses sell this evening. We've got a first-time purchaser at the CTS Ready to Run sale, Roddy Duff. Roddy, you bought very well this evening.
Very pleased indeed, really excited about it for the first time here and looking forward to her running imminently and hoping to bring the whole family down from England, my wife and my 3 children, so really exciting.
Is this the first time you'll be racing in Cape Town?
No, I've had a few shareholdings in various horses, but I decided that it's time to buy hopefully a decent horse and own 100% of her, and this was the first time, and you know, as a family who are interested in horses in the UK, we're interested in that, and we're also interested in bringing our colours to South Africa, Macduff tartan colours, and I imagine that's probably the first time that a Scottish tartan has probably run in South Africa, so we're looking forward to that.
Trainer Sean Terry bought very well at this evening's sale. Now, Sean, I don't have to tell you, the incentive of the races that you can put these horses in makes this sale a whole lot different.
Yes, I mean, the fact that you've got one in basically the end of January, these horses are already going, and the ones that you feel you're going to keep in training, you know, you've already got a race at the end of Jan, which is a great bonus. And obviously there's the R2.5 million race, which is fantastic, and let alone the ones that have already qualified for the $5 million. So there's a lot of incentives, and it truly is a great value. And I thought the gallops were exceptional this year. A lot of workmanlike horses, a lot of good gallops, and the market seemed pretty strong. The middle market, surprisingly, was quite strong.
The top lot on tonight's sale was a Dynasty colt bought by Alish Naidu for 1.1 million, and Dennis Bosch is going to be lucky enough to be training it. Dennis, what a fantastic purchase. He's a lovely, lovely colt, isn't he?
Yeah, I was fortunate, you know. It's nice that a few of the owners are buying me some nice horses. We're doing pretty well in Durban, so I'm very thankful to my clients, you know. Without them, you know the story. If you don't have nice horses, you can't keep training the 20, you know, you can win with the 20 granders and the 30 granders, but the pedigree will come out in the end, you know, the Sylvanas, the Dynasties, and we only looked at maybe 4 horses on the sale. We thought of rather spending a bit of quality and taking that chance. It doesn't mean that they cost 1.1 that they can run, but he certainly got everything that we need, you know, for him. So instead of buying 3, which we could have done, we bought the one, and I just thank my clients so much, you know. Without them, we're not going to be here, so.
Well, Vian Smith is with me now, and Vian, your first sale's gone pretty well, I'd say.
Yes, it was a bit nerve-wracking at the start, but the sale went extremely well. There were so many new buyers today. The average is up more than 25% from last year, and a real buoyant market. And you know, being the kind of the beginning of the sale season for us, with the January sale just around the corner, that bodes well for the future.
Well, it was certainly a top quality catalogue. You had a great turnout here this evening, and once again CTS did a fantastic job and the hospitality was brilliant. But we've got the incentive of going into these big races for these youngsters, and that's super exciting, isn't it?
Absolutely, you know, if just buying a horse at the sale, you know you can possibly have a run in the Kudu Sprint in January for 350,000 rand. Then of course the Landsberg Ready to Run Stakes in November next year for 2.5 million rand, and then you know, a large number of the horses here were already qualified for the CTS Millions races. So you know, those being two races of 5 million rand each. So it certainly makes a lot of sense buying a horse here, and I think, you know, pinnocking was again proven to be very successful. A lot of guys pinnocked extremely successfully from the earlier sales. They put their money down early in the year and took a risk on a horse developing in the way that they were expecting it to develop, and guys did very well. So all in all, I think a very good result for the industry, you know, and yeah, something we're very proud of.
Hedley McGrath bought particularly well this evening for Dippin' Blue Racing. What a great bunch of top stallions you've purchased.
Fantastic evening, first of all. I'm well into CTS, and I got 4 lovely horses with the Naughty 4, Brahm, Greg Bortz, myself and Mark Wright, and a lovely What a Winter and a Sharwies from Normandy Stud, and a sale from Seattle, which Eastern Cape loves, through the Ascot Stud setup, and fantastic evening, and it's all gone well.
Well, they are a lovely bunch, and I must say they all galloped so well yesterday.
I wasn't at the gallops, we flew in a bit late, Mark Wright and I, from Port Elizabeth, but we watched all the clips, and I think we chose very well.
And the big races that lie ahead for them, that's a great incentive, isn't it?
That's the incentive. We'll go back to Yvette and line it up. And the nice thing about this whole thing is GG Gaming has given us an incentive. If they win first time out, these horses, we get the odds at 20 to 1 or however they work it out. A nice incentive from Greg Bortz.
Well, that's brilliant. Let's hope we see you back here for the Kudu Sprint on Mat Day.
I'll be here, for sure.
Justin Veermark from Green Street Bloodstock is with me now. Justin, you bought a few nice horses this evening.
Yeah, we got a lovely Visionaire colt for our clients based in Mauritius. They buy one with us every year. And then for Green Street, we bought a very nice Captain L out of a daughter of Duchess Darba that'll be going to the Snates. He cost 400,000. I was a big fan of his gallop, and he's a lovely specimen. So very happy, and we got bits and pieces of a few others, including a Vasco's Tractor, a twice over colt, which we're excited about. So a good sale for us.
I think it's been a great sale. The catalogue was impressive, and I think the gallops were pretty smart yesterday as well.
Yeah, it was. The gallops went off very well, all very well organised, and the average was pretty strong, and I think a lot of happy sellers in terms of pinhooking, and then happy buyers as well. So a very good sale overall.
Well, that brings a close to the CTS Ready to Run sale presented by Landsberg Hotel and Spa. What a wonderful evening we've had. The top lot went for 1.1 million, and there's some very happy buyers leaving the sales ring this evening, knowing that they've got a chance of running in the 350,000 stake Kudu Sprint on Mat Day.
Well, Grant, you and I have been in racing for many years. Not that we're that old, but we've certainly seen a lot in racing, and we learn things new every day. But this is something that I've never seen, and I have to say it was a good laugh.
No, it was a great laugh. I don't think he found it too funny, and I think probably the guy behind him was even more put off. But have a look at what happened out in Australia with this particular rider, and a little bit of a wardrobe malfunction.
Cup winner Blake Shin lost more than just the race at Canterbury today after an embarrassing wardrobe malfunction.
Defender gets in by a head to Miss Riala. Modesty ran third, Anthology late.
Okay, it's all happening tonight, isn't it? Puck's missing, and we'll get off that now. What's the odds of the horse being called Modesty?
I thought we were going to blur that.
No, we were going to blur it. We thought, no, let's just roll the dice on it, but let's not get too many just yet. Listen to you. We always have a...
I wasn't expecting to see that much. What are the chances of there being a horse called Modesty in there?
Exactly.
Well, we've seen a couple of rugby players maybe lose their draws, but on a scale of 1 to 10, Jules, what would you give that bump?
Never a jockey. I think it's quite cute.
Was it quite?
Yeah, I think maybe a 6 or 7.
6 or 7, there we go. I'm sure
not bad.
We'll send that over to him. I'm sure he'll be absolutely delighted. Well, that's a wrap for this week's edition of Breeding to Win. And nice to go out with a little bit of a
good laugh.
Good laugh at the end there as well. But Jules, great stuff. We'll be back I think one more show before the end of the year, and then we go back into 2018. Can you believe how fast the year's gone?
I can't. I tell you what, I know they say as you get older, the years go quicker. I didn't realize we were that old.
Yeah, because they're absolutely flying. Anyway, we hope you stay tuned and join us for our December issue. And if you're going to be going on holiday, you're going to be taking long drives on the road, please drive carefully. And we look forward to catching up with you in 2 weeks' time. Good night.
Carry on Alice breaks their hearts again. Pulling clear in the closing stages. Smart Call wins the Jambi-Mid. And Smart Call comes home to win it in the main Johns Farms Paddock Stakes.